not misinformation over here. I'll go over it probably a little bit again. This picture is the anamorphic figurine that we've recently found that is our current oldest anamorphic figurine. Anamorphic are our current oldest figurine of anything human, right? Anything that resembles some form of a human figure. And this resembles a human figure in its body structure. Um, and in resembling the human figure in its body structure, I find it very important to see the I'm glad you're coming back on YouTube. I know I had like two people over there, and I want to try and make sure that the other person is getting back as well. But when you're looking at this, you're seeing that there are these slashes on his arm that are most likely tattoos, most likely body paint, something that they wear on a regular basis to identify, to self identify. I'm going to see, maybe I can do it this way instead since that camera's not working very well. If you can see on YouTube, there is, sorry, YouTube, you get a camera, on the arm here, these lines on his arm that are very anamorphic, or not very, very reminiscent of some form of a marking on self. When we're taking this further to our future, or into, us a little bit further down the line, we're definitely seeing that a lot of our representation, our representation shows some form of identity, whether it's the way the hair is styled, whether it is markings on the body. We could take that statuette of this lion man and look at that in many different ways. But one of the ways that we can look at it as is maybe this was something to embody that lion into spirit, or maybe this is a person who was a medicine man, a priest, somebody who was a spiritual connection, and the spiritual connection that he had was through the lion. Or maybe this group's spiritual connection was through the lion, and so they visualized their gods as lions, or they visualized their priests as having that connection to the lion. So there are many different ways that we can take that, but pretty much all of the ways that we can take that are a relation of an animal identity with a human being, right? All of the ways that we can relate that really shows seeing that the animal itself is important to someone, right? As a humanistic coexistence, right? And this is 40,000 years old on that statue. Obviously, not the one behind me now, if you're just coming in. So, when we're looking at this going down the road, we absolutely see that a lot of different things are brought in, invited in, and pulled in with statuary, with cave art, with decor of self, right? We know now that the Neanderthals actually hunted with golden eagles, right? And that they actually used golden eagle claws, talons, and feathers as decoration. These are things that have come across pretty recently within our knowledge. But with this comes that relation again of the power of the golden eagle, the power of this bird of prey with hunting, with some form of animal and human relationship, right? And so when we're looking at that, we can absolutely see that this understanding goes back to the Neanderthals, right? So this understanding is absolutely something we see not only in us, but that we see in other species of us, right? So when we're looking at that, those senses of identity go back further than we are, right? Further than our concept of what we are goes back, right? So our species is 300,000 years old, but the brain shape that we have, the things that we think are why we are as advanced as we are only go back about 40,000 years. And all of those things come after that sense of identity builds, right? It is that sense of identity that kind of gives us that shift of our brain. We can see that when we see that Naladi also has the same brain shape and the same sense of identity, right? So we see that the shape of our brain gives us the computational power that we have now, right? Gives us all the advances that we have now. And that is a result of the way our brain shifted as our sense of identity comes into play. So our sense of identity kind of forms who we are as modern human beings, right? When we're looking at this, no matter how far back you go, you can see, or not how far back you go, you can see certain things that are reoccurrent across most of space, uh, pretty much as far back as we can currently document. Those things that are pretty concurrent across most of space, as far back as we can document currently, are putting some form of beads or decoration into our hair, decorating our hair either with braids or with beads in braids, or maybe a bead cap. Some of these things we're not exactly sure what they represent. I'll show you a picture really quick and you'll see why. So this is the Venus of Willendorf, and the Venus of Willendorf is 30,000 years old, so it's 10,000 years younger than the one that we just saw. I really didn't do a whole lot of cleanup on these images because I was kind of in a rush today. But as you can see with the hair of this person, we are not exactly sure whether or not this is a hat that is beads or whether or not this is braids. As you can see, their face isn't exposed. This is, like their face that is exposed has no feature to it, right? This was not important. What was important was this and this, the shape. So you're going to view this shape as an idealized shape in 3,000 to 30,000 years ago, which makes total sense that the Venus of Willendorf is an idealized shape at 33 or 30,000 years ago, at a time when having food was having wealth, right? Larger. Yes, I believe Willendorf is Germany. I'm so geographically challenged, but I do believe it. And if you look and you see Willendorf, it's Willendorf. I believe it's Germany. But if you look, you'll see exactly where they found it. But it is the Gervasian culture, I believe. So when you're looking at this, what you're seeing is, you know, a show of the identity of this person and not necessarily a singular person. The other statues that we have along this line, absolutely through this period of time, show us. So I'm going to try something, YouTube, and I'm hoping that I don't lose you guys again.